So let's take a look at the last lesson in the conflicts unit, which is reconciliation. This is like the conclusive point of conflict resolution. Reconciliation basically means becoming friends again or coming back together. So when the conflict resolution process is completed, the parties who were in the adverse sides of the conflict should become friends again, should come back together, and they should develop that mutual trust the parties had towards each other. Now the reconciliation can occur, more like reconciliation should occur, in 3 different stages. First you have psychological reconciliation, then you have social reconciliation, and third you have political reconciliation. Psychological reconciliation means helping the victims of the conflict, parties of the conflict, to handle the bad memories of the conflict in a positive manner. Now when it comes to a violent conflict, which most of the times which involves a civil war, both parties of the conflicts have suffered so many painful, bitter memories. So in order to reconcile politically and socially, the foundation should be laid by psychological reconciliation, which helps the victims and the parties of the conflict to handle those painful memories in a positive manner. Now the example, if you take the Sri Lankan ethnic conflict, in terms of reconciliation among the Tamils and the Sinhalese, it is necessary to mentally support the Tamils of Sri Lanka to handle the painful memories of the Black July in a positive manner, and as well as to help the Sinhalese to handle the painful memories of the bomb attacks that they suffered throughout the years. So when the citizens, when the parties and the people and the victims are capable of handling this in a better psychological manner, when the psychological reconciliation is sorted, then in the community, in the communities, social wise, the parties of the conflict start getting along. So when it comes to social lives of these parties, they start interacting with each other and they start having a good social connection. This is known as social reconciliation. So it should be facilitated by creating more social spaces for the parties to interact with one another and have a better relation. Then once these 2 steps are sorted, we can move on to the political reconciliation, which involves political reforms to develop the friendship between the communities. Right. So when it comes to this reconciliation process, the ideal example regarding reconciliation is the South African experience of reconciliation. This is basically Nelson Mandela's political influence. So in South Africa, after independence, after Nelson Mandela became the president of South Africa, he had to reconcile the black people and the white people. Now the black people in South Africa had gone through decades and decades of suppression by the white supremacists. Now when Nelson Mandela, a black person, finally became the president, the black people who had suffered for so long expected Mandela to take steps to take revenge from those white oppressors. However, Nelson Mandela had a different approach to this, that he said there are 2 types of justices. There's retributive justice and there's restorative justice. Whereas Nelson Mandela refused the idea of retributive justice. Retributive justice is basically vengeance. Whereas Mandela believed in restorative justice, which involves forgiveness. So he formed this commission, which was known as the National Commission of Reconciliation, where the victims and the perpetrators came face to face, where perpetrators openly admitted to all the ill treatments and the crimes they committed, and the victims openly, publicly forgave them. So this way South Africa managed to handle reconciliation extremely well, which sets a perfect example of how to handle reconciliation following a conflict resolution.